Centrepoint Tower was one of our earlier jobs. It was really put hard on the map in Sydney, and was involved in terms of the design of the tower and the structure. What's happened is Hard has continued on with that involvement with the tower, and this has continued on with the sculptures for the Sydney Olympics, and then also with the skywalk up the top of the tower. Now, with the current iteration of Westfield Sydney, we've been able to keep that involvement all the way through. And one of the nice things I found with the project is that we were able to use some of the drafters and some of the designers that were involved in the original project. And so for me, what that meant is that the same person was involved in terms of the documentation. And so you can see the same signature at that point and the same signature now in the current documentation. There's two items of innovation that I'd like to talk about. One's related to the design that we did on the existing structure, and the other part is to do with the tree columns you see in the sky lobby. So for the design that we completed on the existing structure, what happened for that is we had an architect who had specific needs and specific requirements that they wanted to get the walls activated. And what that meant is there was a number of columns and walls that we had to get rid of. Now, to get rid of that is not an easy thing, especially when you've got a 308 metre tall tower on top. So what we ended up doing is have a computer model to model the whole structure. We then, with the architect, worked out which walls and which columns they could remove, and with the architect worked up solutions. And what this meant at the end is we had to give the architect and the client what they wanted in terms of the structure. So the second item is concrete filled steel tubes. Now, they look fancy architecturally, but they do perform a structural need. So the things that we're trying to identify with those, or the items we're trying to solve. One was a torsional effect on the core, so we had the tree columns to brace that. The other item was in terms of the construction sequencing for these. We wanted to make sure that they're easy to build, and the tree columns and the concrete filled tubes fulfilled that requirement.